Hey guys, so I have never really done reaction videos before, and I think I'm gonna blame Crimson on the other end of this madness for roping me into it.
They're a lot of fun. You should do them more often.
Shh, don't lie to me, don't lie to me. So we're gonna watch the newest episode of RWBY, which is Chapter 12, Volume 6, Chapter 12, is that right?
Yes, it's called Seeing Red.
I'm ready. I'm ready to die.
Are you
You told me it was gonna be
ready?
Oh my god. I can't believe you've made a pun. I'm offended. Banned.
Beau 1, Tina
Banned.
0.
Banned.
Banned.
Tina 12, Beau 0. Okay,
Wow.
so without further ado, we're just gonna dive right into this. So Beau, do you wanna do the countdown?
You do the countdown since you're like kind
fine.
of the host.
Okay, so play in 3, 2, 1, go. I'm ready. I got rooster teeth.
The Rooster Teeth.
Rooster teeth. Okay, but can we talk about how awesome this opening is?
I love this opening so much. And I have my audio incredibly loud because I'm not capturing it, so I want to go deaf.
just die, it's fine.
Just die. It is fine.
100% fine. I love how it just slaps her on the face. He's like, listen here, you little shit.
Can't catch me, gay thoughts.
That never gets old. I remember the first time he said that we started watching this season, I was like, oh my god.
That was Star. Star was the one that said it.
Was it? All I remember is whoever said it, I died.
I said it verbally first, I think, but she wrote it out, and I was like, oh my god, can't catch me, gay thoughts.
Oh my god. Can't catch me, gay thoughts.
Oh man.
Here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see him if I'm gonna put the video over this later, but I got doggos here. I got Fancy Feet.
Fancy Feet, is that my boy?
Come here, Fancy Feet.
I love that dog. Here, pass him through the camera, I'll catch him.
Okay, hang on. He's like not having it.
He's like, no, please. Please, no. That dog, like, anxiety gives him anxiety.
He's just like, his anxiety is just...
has anxiety.
His anxiety has anxiety, it's correct. Okay, but
Dobby is
so
a
badass this season.
She's such a good leader, too. Her and John both have been such good leaders this season.
RWBY's like, done with your shit. Okay, I'm gonna die now.
Can't believe Tina's gonna fucking die.
You just couldn't keep this rivalry between us, could you, Calavera? You had to rope in children to fail with you.
I feel like this is all of us when we're like cheering one of our friends on.
Mm-hmm.
RWBY!
Oh, look at this badass climbing pick.
RWBY, can you hear me? Are you guys okay?
Are we okay?
I know, we were supposed to lay low, but listen. I think I finally found a weakness.
I want to see someone cosplay the mech, but then have like an air cannon. You know, the thing where you pull a rubber band back? Have like an air cannon on their arm.
The cylinder on Cordo's cannon rotates and locks in a giant dust cartridge every time she changes attack style.
We noticed.
Right, but her missile launcher doesn't lock in. It
Pops out! Without her shields, one well-placed shot could detonate the missiles while they're still in the launcher.
You could destroy the entire
Wow,
cannon.
Oscar, when did you become
Oscar,
a
that's
professional on
brilliant.
mech?
Can you make that kind of shot? We'll only get one chance before she catches on. I'd have to be practically staring down the barrel of her cannon.
Well, I've got a way to guarantee that.
She's like, she hates me enough.
RWBY, what are you doing?
Her best.
Bye, Crow! Go suck an egg!
I love how solid RWBY looks this season.
Yeah.
Like,
One missile left, and I know exactly where I'm gonna stick it.
And I know exactly where I'm gonna stick it!
That's a shame, Maria, because I have plenty.
Are you too crazy?
Sometimes the
Oscar's a mood.
simply the most direct.
Oh my god, RWBY doing the snip snoops. Oof. We haven't actually really seen her snipe, like, straight up.
she straight up sniped one of the missiles out last episode.
No, I know, but I mean, not until this season. Like, you've kind of seen stuff in Chibi. But...
One shot, one pill.
I can't see. My eyes.
No, no, no!
Take control.
Oscar's like, well, farm boy to pilot. Let's go.
He's like, I'm gay, I can't drive.
What is this straight you speak of?
Let me jump off a cliff so I can fly.
Seems legit.
I'm still debating on whether that was actually more efficient.
We're still in one piece.
Oh, Ruby, no, don't do the limp.
Very clever. But even the smartest apes can't compete with the intellect of man.
Oh,
Come on!
poor Maria.
Ruby, stop.
Oh.
I need you to trust me.
I bet you that was one of the famous last words Crow said to Summer. Or Summer said to Crow.
Surrender
Yeah,
for
I bet
your
you're right.
crimes and accept your punishment.
No!
Oh! I told you to suck a dick!
We're going to Atlas! Bigger people than you have tried to stop us and failed. But we're supposed to be on the same
Dog.
side.
Dog,
We're
please.
supposed to use our power to protect people. But you just used yours to look down on everyone.
We
This
didn't
dog, I
want to
swear.
steal from you. We did it because you gave us no other choice.
They did so good on the
I'm
facial
giving you
animations
one
this
last
season.
chance to stand down and hear us out.
I swear, if she just turns that cannon right on Ruby.
I've heard enough.
I swear. Oh! That's it.
Ruby!
Ruby looks like mildly annoyed.
Ruby's like, try me, bitch.
What? She's
The missile launcher springs out. But the raw dust gets locked in.
Oh my god, Ruby, don't kill yourself.
What?
Ruby. Ruby?
Told ya.
Oh, don't tell me I missed it.
You knew you couldn't
This-
win
oh,
2-on-1 at Haven. What makes you so sure you can win now?
I don't have a choice. I have people who actually care about me. And I promised I'd never leave them again. So I'm not dying now.
You know, she made a promise to me once that she'd always be at my side. And look how well she's kept it.
Did she make that promise to you? Or to the person you were pretending to be?
You got him.
So I just wasn't good enough for you.
You know it's so much more than that.
I know you've made your choice. And I've made mine.
You know, we've seen them fight, but we haven't seen really the two of them fight together at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, against Adam. And really, what is it? The last sequence we had a kind of a fight like this was what?
The mech.
Like, yeah, I was like, that
The
was
mech in
some time
Volume
ago.
2.
Moment of truth, Yang. Do you think you're faster than you were at Beacon? Me neither. running low.
Just Blake climbing the fucking wall.
Hit me already! What does she even see in you? You're just a coward like her!
Ooh. Ooh. Please snap his sword in half.
Gotcha.
Oof. 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 Biggest of oofs. Just chuck the sword in the fucking waterfall.
I may not be faster, but I'm smarter.
No!
Oof. Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Well, shit. Oh. Oh, that's a done deal. Oh.
I'm not gonna break my promise. I swear.
That's okay.
I know you won't.
Can't believe Adam's fucking dead.
No! 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 You're never getting to Atlas, do you hear me? Never! All forces! Converge on my position and eliminate these pests at once!
Trap!
Everyone on board! We're making a run for it.
What about Yang and Blake?
Ma'am, we've been trying to reach you. Argus is in danger.
What?
Of course, that would be how it would happen. The one big defense they have is now fucking shot. Oh, look, here's a big-ass fucking Grim. Sounds like fun. This is fun. Everything's fine.
This one female guard is a mood right here.
Just her face. That is a fucking mood.
It began its approach during your battle. We need you.
And it was that moment they realized they fucked up.
Oh, man. I can't believe Adam's dead.
The thing that I love about it, this is something that I've said and I've heard other people say multiple times, is I'm really glad that like it wasn't just Blake or it wasn't just Yang that dealt the final blow. It was both of them because they knew, and that was the problem, is all the times they've tried to go up against him, it was by themselves. And they knew that the only way that they were going to beat him was together.
Mm-hmm. I love how they do show that it's SDC though, like specifically the Shinny Dust Company. Though I am curious to see, will we see more of Adam's story, even though he's gone. But even so, he fell off the cliff. I never like go, someone is totally dead until they're like, yes, they are
so
dead.
The argument that I made earlier in the spoiler chat was that because someone was like, oh yeah, no, like, you know, by anime rules, you know, like we saw Cinder and blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, but Cinder was just frozen. Like, she was a maiden. Raven got frozen completely and was able to break out, and Cinder fell into a still body of water, not a raging waterfall into a river. And on top of that, he was also out of his aura, and he got stabbed. One of the blades hit him in the heart. Like, someone literally pulled up the screenshot where you can see the 2 stab wounds and then overlaid it with, like, where your heart is in a human body. And it's literally one or both of them hit him in the heart.
That's, yeah.
And potentially the other one, whichever one didn't hit him in the heart, the other one probably hit him in a lung.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's safe to say that he's dead. It wasn't like like you said with Cinder, where he's frozen and like fell off, but I don't trust Rooster Teeth. Not that they've pulled any sort of like Dragon Ball Z-esque shit. I'm
not saying that it's not possible for him to come back, period. I think that the only logical way for him to come back would be if maybe Watts finds him and like does some kind of Atlas science bullshit on him, or like they bring him back to Salem and Salem's like, nah, I'm gonna turn this bitch into a Grimm.
I think that's possible because they can do stuff like that. They did it with Cinder, but she was more intact. But
yeah, she was more intact as far as we know. But another thing about it too is that it's like, when we saw the flashback of the gods, there was only really the Beowulfs and the Ursa, the ones that were like based off of obvious animals. There weren't any of the humanoid ones. And so I'm wondering if the humanoid Grimm might be what comes from when Salem takes a dead person.
God.
Yeah, and tries to bring them back somehow.
I wonder, because, she was hunting down the silver-eyed people, so we learned from TikTok. Do you think that she's done that to silver-eyed warriors? Not necessarily, I mean, obviously, like, Maria's lost her eyes, but we still don't know anything about Summer, and I always keep trying to come up with these theories of, like, what happened to Summer. I mean, if we see that she can do what she did with Cinder, who's to say she didn't do it with other characters? Heck, even what if Pyrrha? Everyone has kind of done, like, the Grimm stuff already before with Pyrrha, I think. But what if it comes around that it's true? I'll be like, man, those guys hit it on the head from the get-go. But, like,
yeah,
I think Summer's only real threat that we can kind of theorize was Salem. So, where'd she go? Where's my mom? Hello?
Yeah. But, so I don't think, because honestly, I think, and I was watching Erin, Blake's voice actress. I was watching her actual reaction to the episode earlier. She live streamed it on Unlocked, and a lot of it was her being like, "Yes, bitch."
Yes.
But she was saying that this season, and specifically this episode and last episode, were the huge ones for Blake, and as far as like Blake finally being able to move on from her past and whatnot, or at least the negative aspects of her past. And I very much agree with what she said, in the sense of, I think that Adam's story is done. I don't think that he's relevant anymore. It's just like how Torchwick's story was done.
Yeah. That's fair. I can agree with that.
Yeah, like he had his arc. He even had his chance at some kind of redemption of just like giving himself up, and like they told him last episode, they're like, dude, this is your last chance.
And
like,
it's not even like they were asking him to like surrender or go to jail. They're like, just leave us alone. Like, that's all we want. Just go.
Yeah, they weren't even trying to be high and mighty about it. They were like, just leave us alone. Like, specifically, like, go be an asshole to anyone else except us, please. And that was something that, I was talking to someone, I can't remember who it was earlier, but we were talking about the fact that it was like, what was it? Oh, they were saying before the episode, they're like, oh, I don't think that Yang and Blake would stoop to the level of killing him. And I was like, I don't think it's a matter of stooping when it's a fight for survival. Yeah. Like, in the moment of quiet that they had, like the calm before the storm, they told him, look, just leave us alone. Like, just walk away. Like, you can do it. We can all walk away from this. No one has to die here.
And I think
he made his decision.
Yeah, the problem is that they knew that once he was going, he wasn't going to stop till they were dead. And this has been a continual thing. And it's one of those, they gave him a chance to walk away, yeah. And I think there'll be people who argue, oh, well, they still could have just spared him and let him go. And I was like, but you don't understand. He's not going to stop. He's not.
It's kind of, it makes me laugh because I think of the song from the Chicago musical where it's like, and we both reached for the gun. And it's like, he was unarmed, but he was still going for Gamble Shroud. Like, he was not going to give up until he was dead. And until either they were dead or he was dead.
And it was with the intent to kill Blake right then and there, because that's who he saw, that's who he was aiming for, and they both dove in to go, no, we're not letting this happen.
Both of them went for a killing blow. Like, I'm not talking about Blake and Adam. I'm talking Blake and Yang both went for a killing blow.
I mean, all three of them did, but even so, at this point where you have this sort of this standoff in a sense, I think people would be quick to put the blame on one person, but I'm glad, like you said, that they had both of them deliver that final blow, because since they did that, you have this sort of
shared blame
not only is it shared blame, but we have heroes in this story killing. There's so many things about, you're a hero and you can't kill, but it shows two very loved, very important characters doing something that maybe is unsavory, and sometimes, even though it's wrong, there has to be a line in the sand that gets drawn, and sometimes you gotta cross it.
Yeah, that was also my argument, is they're like, I don't think that they're going to stoop to his level of killing him. And it's like, it's not a matter of stooping. It's a matter of surviving. Mm-hmm. Like, if killing him is what it's going to take for both of them to be able to walk away from this alive, then that's what they're going to have to do. And I said that. I can pinpoint it in the podcast last week when we were like, what are your predictions? And I was like, he's going to fucking die. Like, they're going to kill him.
And that's realistic.
I think Brian was the one that was like, no, I don't think that they're going to kill him, because, I think that they're kind of above that. And I was like, I think that if it comes down to it, they're going to have to make a decision.
Yeah. and you know what? I think I want to say I originally agreed with Brian, but I think it's realistic that if somebody came into my house right now and threatened to kill me, and they had the means to do it, and I had the means to turn and defend myself, but in doing so would kill them, I would kill them. Like, even if I have to. A lot of people don't realize, and I think this is where you draw the line between, I'd say, fiction sort of storytelling and a realistic storytelling, is that when you have that sort of flight or flight going, Yang already was like super triggered because she had already lost her arm. He pressed that button and he thought he had the advantage here. He goes in and she just snatches it like, you know what? Yeah, you're faster than me, and yeah, you might be able to outfight me, but this thing the same thing that he gave her, in a sense, is the same thing that saved her here, because without it, she would have been done way before.
If he had only knocked her out back at Beacon, and she hadn't gone through all of the struggling that she has gone through in the last 3 volumes, I don't think she would have walked out of this fight alive.
Yeah, I have to agree. That arm saved her this whole fight.
Because the robot arm saved her. So it's one of those kinds of blessing in disguise, is he gave her exactly the weapon she needed to be able to fight him.
Yeah.
And, her losing her arm forced her to kind of appreciate what she has, like put her into this different mindset. Kind of one of those, like, you don't realize what you have until you've lost it kind of thing. It humbled her, definitely.
And on top of that, it taught her to hone her skills as not only a fighter, but as a huntress, to really utilize her semblance effectively, instead of just, sure, she could just tap into it every time and just keep burning up her aura. But if she did that in this fight, she would have been done in 2 seconds. Like,
this was the first time we've seen her semblance full on. Like, we've seen her with her eyes shift when she's angry, but this is the first time we've seen her semblance since when she leapt at Adam, since she lost her arm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and can we talk about how beautiful she looked? Like, her hair was on fire, her eyes were all red. Man,
I have an undying love for Yang, and I have to admit, out of all the characters in the show, I love RWBY. RWBY is my number one, but at first when I started watching it was Yang. Because I feel like I relate a lot to her. I mean, yeah, because I watched it with you. I feel like I relate a lot to her sort of spunkiness and her tenacity, as well as her humor and just being sort of just that fun character. She's never really serious. She's always pretty carefree. But at the same time, you don't want to cross her. She will fuck you up. She will get shit done. And I've always I felt that really resonates with me a lot. Not saying RWBY doesn't. RWBY does in her own way. She's very innocent, always very cheery and positive, trying to make the best of anything, which again is also very like me. Sometimes underwhelming, or you don't think they can do necessarily what they do, and then they come in and they show you up. But anyways, Yang has been my love through this whole show, and seeing her go through that traumatic sort of spot in her life. I almost died when I was younger, and that's something I really relate to. That. It really affected me, and I don't think I would have appreciated Yang's PTSD struggle if it wasn't for me going through things I had to go through in my own life that made me go, being in cars. I have such a hard time being in a car when someone else drives, because I was in a bad wreck when I was younger, and
I had the same thing.
Yeah, and so we talked about that, where I was I feel like I really could relate to her on so many levels, and just the strength it takes to overcome that and face her fears and come on top of it is just the perfect example. Even if it's a fictional story, and my dogs are just fighting in the background, murdering each other. Can't believe Adam's fighting fucking Blake.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that this episode was, you know, was a turning point for Blake and Yang, and I think that you know, and this was something that I kind of got into a little bit of a debate with someone in the Volume 6 spoilers chat earlier, is they were saying they haven't shown any aspect of Yang's PTSD affecting her.
Oh, no, I'd argue that. No, okay, so let's begin to say all the points. First one is one of the major points when she leaves home, not just getting out of bed and all that struggle from right in the immediate sense. She's in the bar, she's holding a drink and or whatnot. The guy's like, oh, hey, whatever.
Well,
you know?
not even just that. Even before she leaves home,
I know there was so much there, but
she literally dropped a glass and was triggered. She had nightmares.
Yeah,
like
and there's so much to it. I don't know, like I can't pinpoint every single part, but I have been so attuned to every single time it's, you know, her hand shaking or it's trembling, like she's scared, but she's pretending like, she's okay.
This person's argument was trying to be like, oh, but they didn't show it a whole lot. Like, we're meant to believe that she's suffering, that she's going through this road to recovery, but they don't show it all that much. And I'm like, you must not understand what PTSD is, because PTSD is always 100% there.
And it's like, the thing is, like,
it's a constant struggle.
And yeah, and just because she can joke around, have fun, be okay, you know, I've done that. You've done that. You try to have fun, you try to be happy, but all it takes is for that one moment to sink away and have it be, it's always there, like you said, but that one moment for it to be at the surface. Most people just try to suppress it and deal with it. That's why it's such a big thing for people from, especially who've been in the military, to have that, if you have post-traumatic stress disorder, get help, because most people won't even necessarily realize it till it's too late in some situations where somebody goes off the rails or they have some serious issue that is just, it puts them at the end of their rope, or, you know, there's so many situations like that, and that's why it's such a big deal. And I love that RWBY kind of addresses that, and they capture it perfectly, in my opinion. That's what it looks like. It's hard to tell, it's hard to notice, but if you're looking and you know the signs, it's clear, it's written all over their face.
And one of the really big things too is that it's not just like Adam related things that have triggered her. You know, like her hand was shaking when she was in the bandit camp talking to Raven. Her hand was shaking, you know, when she was down in the vault talking to Raven. You know, it's happened several times there. It happened after she fought all the bandits around Bumblebee. May he rest in peace. He made room for the actual Bumblebee.
It's true. But it's true. I'm really,
you know,
sad.
like she's had all these moments where, completely unrelated to Adam whatsoever, that she's been triggered by things, because it could literally just, you know, triggers can be something as simple as, you know, a sound or a smell, you know, or like a specific, like being touched somewhere specifically. Like anything could be a trigger for you.
That is very true.
And it's always there. And I think that it would be a disservice to not still touch onto it every once in a while. But I think that 3 full volumes of her getting this closure, I think, you know, with about maybe sometime between a year to a year and a half of recovery for this, and now she's actually in a better mindset because she's got her team, she's got her sister, she's got her family with her again. So she's got the people that can help her now.
And you know, because of this struggle, she's come out, I think, a better person. Damaged, but she's a better person. You can be damaged and be repaired. Sometimes I feel like better than before. And these struggles have defined her and helped create who she is as a person. But one thing I really love is not only I think a lot of people really want to focus on, you know, RWBY's growth, which is great. She's had a lot of growth this season, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the way that Yang has really kind of stepped up to overcome these obstacles. She was kind of like a pure character. Everyone expected her to be strong, and that's just who she is, pure in a different way than what Yang was. But then you have Yang, who's this always, like, people don't think of Yang as being weak or emotional or damaged. So I think she's also trying to hide a lot of it out to everyone else. I don't think people really realized how much she was struggling, except for maybe Blake, that she was damaged and she had all these struggles. Like, RWBY's probably like, oh yeah, she was really upset when it first happened, really down, she wasn't herself, but then maybe not even realize where she's at now.
RWBY didn't even stick around long enough to see her start to recover.
Yeah.
Like,
so
given, you know, she knew what she had to do, she had to go do it, and she knew that Yang would catch up to her when she was able to. But it's like, it's still like Ruby has no idea. Like, unless they've had to sit down in a heart to heart about it, like Ruby still has no idea like how much this is affecting Yang.
Yeah. And I think it's just interesting to see. That's good. It just blows my brain to me though that they said that she didn't have any of those effects of PTSD. And that's one of my favorite things, and I hate to say it, one of my favorite things to see with how they've progressed Yang is to see her struggle, because it makes her so human. It makes her so relatable, and it makes her feel like a lot of people do. And I think in a sense of, you have the world on your shoulders. You got to do it for not just you, but for everyone else, because they may not say it, but you feel like they're depending on you. You have this job to fulfill with your team, with your family, with whatever. And you don't want to let them down. And I feel like that's a lot of what Yang is, because that's how it feels like with me. Even like on the project, like I have to be strong, and I can't let my weaknesses sort of, or my stress or whatever bring me down, because then I'm letting my team down. And that's just not the type of person I am. So I think that's really interesting to see. But going on the other side of the fence though, to RWBY, because I feel like this is definitely the Yang and RWBY growing arc. I don't feel like Blake and Weiss have really gone much farther than what they have before, that they weren't already at.
But
Blake,
then again, they also had, like, Weiss and Blake also had the majority of the character development for the first 3 volumes.
That's true. But I feel like
they had the most character development. And they've had progressive stuff since then. Like, Blake has definitely gotten her backbone back and whatnot, and Weiss has learned to let people in and has learned to, accept that there are other people that genuinely care about her and that she can move past her shitty family.
Yeah, and that's totally understandable. Like they've had that early growth. Weiss, I feel like, hasn't really gone anywhere this season other than kind of standing up a bit and being more soft and caring to let the right people in. Not that that's new, but you definitely see that. You see that sort
I would
of love.
say that Weiss has done a better job this season and last season, like actively, like, calling people out on their bullshit.
Yeah, I think she's good at calling people out, but she's using her sort of social tenacity to put people in their place.
she's the perfect example of, like, kind of the equivalent of, like, people with white privilege calling out racists. Like, she's someone of privilege, she's someone of stature, and when she sees someone being a dick to a faunus, it's like, okay, you're not going to listen to them, you'll listen to me, because apparently I'm more important, so I'm going to use that stance to get you to fucking pay attention to them.
And that's totally,
and that's how you use privilege in the right way.
And yeah, she does that, because when what's her name, fucking Calavera,
Cordovan.
Not Calavera, that's Maria. Cordovan's just like, oh, with these questionable friends or whatever, or questionable judge of character, and she's like, what's that supposed to mean? Like,
she steps in like, bitch,
and be like, I'm sorry, come again, was that you being a racist fuck? Because if so, we're gonna have some problems. But I also talking about Yang, because it was broadcast where she bashes Mercury's leg, or blasts it. But with RWBY, I feel like we've seen a lot of her kind of being this timid but fun character. I don't want to say timid, I guess, but this light and airy fun character who has always kind of had this optimism and this happiness to her, who, when she has a fight, she kicks ass. Like, when RWBY's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, you're like, ooh, RWBY, please calm down. I'm angry. But going from this soft and character that she was, to kind of growing up and being like, doing essentially what Blake did, and grow a backbone, to say no to people, to realize she can't make everyone happy, and sometimes somebody's going to be on the short end of that stick. But
oh shoot, sorry, Cole asked me if I wanted to be on the podcast.
But yeah, anyways, it's just really cool to see that her growth and her badassery, not only just with vocabulary, or not vocabulary, with her dialogue, but with also her fight sequences. It's really, like, I love seeing RWBY, like, step up to the plate and just be this badass hero when she's so young and have so much more to go. And even Crow says it, like, when did you grow up so fast? So Crow has probably been my least favorite for the season, though, I have to say.
Yeah, Crow went from being, they did a really good job this season at taking my least favorite male character, Jean, the last couple seasons, and make him my favorite male character, and then completely take my favorite male character and drop him down. And I'm just like, ooh, it kind of hurts, but it's also like, you know,
they're keeping it real. They're keeping it real.
They are very much keeping it real. And going back to Ruby real fast, one thing that has always kind of bothered me when people talk about her like this is people going, oh, well, Ruby, you know, and, you know, not to quote Ruby Chibi, but a lot of people be like, oh, Ruby's such a Mary Sue character. She doesn't struggle with anything, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's always like super positive and she's always super happy and all this, that, and the other. And I'm like, take a step back and look at Ruby as a character. We know that she's got shit going on. Like, we know that she's got like darker stuff going on in her head. Like, she's talked about the fact.
I'd be lying if I said that it didn't hurt. That I didn't think about them every day since I lost them.
Exactly. But has no one considered that maybe that's what her strength is being able to keep her shit together? Like dealing with it, like, still in a healthy way. Like, I think that I you know, we might not see it, but I think that Ruby is definitely the kind of person that would be like, you know what, I need to step away for a few minutes and then just kind of go and have like a nice scream at the tree.
And you know, I think that's where I really have a strong appreciation for Ruby, or maybe it's that connection, because she doesn't let it show. She kind of does what Yang does, but they both, Yang is a little more, she lets it out more, I think, and more visibly, but Ruby is always like, okay, like, I gotta be this person from not only, you know, myself, but my team. Like, I don't have time for that, you know. And she's like, yeah, I miss them. I'm sad about them. But, you know, I choose to keep moving forward. She takes the negative and makes it a positive. And I think that's the key to success. Whereas Yang takes the negative and just hides it away. Ruby turns it around on its head. Like, they both deal with similar issues, but entirely different ways. But both come to a similar conclusion, I think, that it can be each healthy and not healthy in their own way. But Ruby's an optimist, and she's like, you're not gonna beat me down like this. Like, I'm gonna rise above this. You're not gonna. She doesn't let her emotions win, which is hard, I think, for a lot of people to understand or really, I think, acknowledge, because they don't stop to think, well, maybe she's just learned more so than even adults how to beat it. So yeah. But yeah. Well, anyways, thank you so much for having me on your first reaction. Maybe you and I should talk about maybe just doing joint reactions. And we should. It'll be fun. And then like, talk hey, about if you want the full reaction, you should pledge to both of us. Well, no, just catch it. You gotta, to get both sides of this conversation, you just gotta, you know, $1 each way. We'll call it gravy. No. Okay. But I'm gonna upload this to YouTube because I'm a terrible person. So yeah, sure. And then I was gonna say I'll finish my recording and I'll send it your way. Yeah. Okay. So you guys go and follow Beau if you don't already on the various social media. I'm gonna pop it down there below if you're not, you know, already pledged to Beau and you want to see awesome reactions and just somebody flip their shit on a regular. You need to go fix that. I just double dabbed. Did you just? I'm gonna see that in the video later. And then I have a Patreon too. Not that you have to support it or do anything like that, but if you want to, I'll just drop it somewhere. You can just watch me do stupid things, and I'm okay with that too. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And as Beau would say, keep it classy. Catch you guys next time. Boo-doo, boo, boo-doo, boo.